Warning, if you're easily offended, triggered, or considered a snowflake by your friends, you're listening to the wrong podcast. The views and opinions you're about to hear are raw, unfiltered, and without any regard for political correctness.
I'm offended.
Shut up. Longtime friends Scott, Will, Davey, and Jay dive deep into issues that other podcasts are too scared to talk about.
No topic is off limits.
All opinions are welcome.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Unlike some other popular panel shows, you know what we're talking about. These four friends have no agenda other than to tell it like it is. This is The Big Divide.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Big Divide. I'm your host, Scott Rowe, working out of Chicago today, and we are on episode, I'm going to say 7, season 1, and a Big Divide is a show that brings different cultures together. So what I did was I picked one of my black friends, one of my Hispanic friends, and one of my Jewish friends, and we put this together to get different perspectives. So the idea here is that even though we're divided by culture, maybe the way we were raised, we can all talk about issues and where we come from on this. So let me do a quick roll call. Around the horn, is Will Montez there?
The Puerto Rican is in the house.
The Boricua. Okay. How about the man from the hood out there on the East Coast, closest to the White House? D.V. Robertson, you out there in your Black Panther outfit?
I'm sitting here, mask and all, man.
Black you got your Panther. Lion King jammies on, or your Black Panther costume? What's up? And then finally, the chosen one. We got where's Jay Abramovitz? You out there, buddy?
The tribe is in the house.
He's tribe's in the house, baby. Okay, so Let me just do this really quick. As I begin the show, what helps us out on the show is if you go to thebigdivideshow.com, maybe subscribe there, go to YouTube, subscribe there, hit the like button, share it with everybody if you like the content. That would help us out. We're on Spotify. You can go to The Big Divide on Facebook, bigdivideshow.com, and The Big Divide on Facebook is where you can find out what's going on with us four. We just came away from an election party at the office here. It was a great time, and I got to give props before I get to this mailbag here. I got to give props the MVP of the Election Night podcast, which you can find uploaded into the bigdivideshow.com. The MVP goes to D.V. Robertson, who did not leave his seat for 5.5 hours.
Way to go, D.V.
I don't know.
Well done.
You should go get a tattoo and you just call yourself Iron Butt. Just go get an Iron Butt tattoo. And you know what you should do? You should get it on your butt. Just put it on there. Then all the girls be like, D.V., what's this? Well, I'm the MVP of the Big Divide, if you haven't heard. So you'll score some points there. So congratulations. I'd say in second place was the COVID master because Will has COVID right now. So COVID Rican. He was a trooper as well. He didn't stay in the seat. He got up and did some stuff around his house as he was doing the show. But Davey, I don't know how you did it, man. I don't know
either.
I mean, you had to have had a bottle next to you just because I didn't even see you go to the bathroom, bro. I don't know. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it.
I was in a suit.
You had a catheter installed.
I think one of the coolest things was, and the reason you want to go check out that show, it was 5 hours. And hopefully producer Tresson can split it up. But I think the best part, and you guys can back me up on this, I think the best part was the guests that were coming away from the party and taking a seat in the office and then adding their 2 cents in. So there were some pretty crazy conversations going on that podcast. So
yeah, that part was actually great. And
that's the best part. It was the best part. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to all of our guests that came up and gave their input, and we kept it clean. At one point, we had a Republican and a Democrat standing. They were sharing the headphones, and allowing each other to share their differences and why they support their candidate. And it was all love. So that was great.
And I think that the one guy that didn't make as much appearance, he was rolling around eating food and watching the stuff on the screens here. Jade made his appearance he was at the after party. The only 2 people at the party were me and Jay. So
It was a lot of fun. And Scott, I want to thank you for putting it on. And I've got to give you credit because when I walked in, I saw the table set up with the red tablecloths on the right side, the blue tablecloths on the left, purple right down the middle. Yeah. And we were a little light on Democrats. We could have had more people on the blue seats. So we allowed overflow from the red into the purple and blue zones. And we just let it flow. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And again, you know what? We're having a Christmas party at our office. So if you want to find out how to hang out with us, we're going to do Christmas Okie, do some sing-alongs. We had a great Halloween party here at the office, karaoke, but we're going to do it again.
You got mail. We got mail
again. There it is. We're going to hit the audience questions first because we love our audience more than we love ourselves. So to begin the show, here's the question that was chosen out of the mailbag today. We'll go around the horn and answer this between us all. Why is Trump held to a different standard? Clinton was impeached for the Monica Lewinsky scandal, yet what Trump has been accused of and even bragged about is brushed off as boys will be boys. This is a slippery slope at best and is dangerous to the women and children of America. A public leader has to be held to a higher standard. Yes, that's the question. Yes, from Laura. Thank you, Laura, for listening to the show. Thank you for participating in today's event. And here's my take on it. I'm going to assume she's talking about the Access Hollywood stuff and his Playboy days. Going into office that way, you know who he is. So he got the votes as that guy, right? Going into the office and didn't do anything in the Oval Office when he was there like Clinton did. So that's my take on it. Everybody knew he was a mud monster going in. They voted him in anyway. What happened with Clinton was he was actually president at the time, took advantage of an intern in the Oval Office while he's married to the First Lady, Hillary. So there you go. That's my take. Anybody else want to add things?
Well, I was reading that the same way, and I was wondering whether Laura was concerned about the Access Hollywood tapes or if she was talking about the Trump impeachment versus the Clinton impeachment. And for the record, Clinton was not impeached for his, how do I put it, dalliance in the Oval Office.
His indiscretions.
His indiscretion, right. Well, he was impeached on grounds of perjury to a grand jury and obstruction of justice that came out of that affair, right? But to your question, should we hold public officials to a higher standard? Higher? I don't know, but certainly we should hold them to a high standard. But the fact of the matter is, the standards by which we hold our public officials has been diminished probably since the Clinton administration, rightly or wrongly. And, this is the way our society is evolving. I would like to see a higher level of discourse. And I would say, yes, I think we should hold them to very high standards. Higher? I don't know, but high standards for sure.
Anybody else?
So I agree with you, Scott, in the fact that we knew who this guy was going in. So it's a little different of someone who was elected and you had that kind of behavior. I can understand that. However, yeah, Trump he was the same guy going in that he is now. So those who supported him and voted for him and wanted him in, you knew what you were getting. And you even had people who say, hey, I don't care about that stuff, but to Laura's point, though, we brush it off as boys being boys. That should have been addressed before we allowed him to gain the spot to become president. So,
what do you mean by that?
Pass it then you can't bring it up once the guy's in the office and try to crucify him after the fact. So that's the issue that I have with us saying that. Yes, it is dangerous to women and children in that if we accept that kind of behavior and saying, hey, we'll look past it and you can still become president, then it's dangerous. But I wouldn't say it's dangerous because he's in office, he's now president, and he's a danger to women and children from that standpoint. And yes, we always should hold our leaders to high standards. I agree with that too as well.
Will Montez, lastly but not leastly.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. That happened and came out before the election, and the people elected him to office regardless. So he earned a spot to be president. What Clinton did, he did it in the Oval Office. And Jay is absolutely correct. He did not get impeached because of the incident itself. It's him lying to the grand jury. And the evidence was overwhelming. And that's why he got impeached. And I just want to turn back the clock 25 years ago, because that's 25 years ago. I remember that I voted for Clinton, and I really didn't care. Right? Boys will be boys. Right? That was my mentality. I was younger. Right now I'm 53 years old, and coming now, there's got to be higher standards. There's got to be higher standards. But Jay is absolutely correct. Where ever since Clinton, that has happened. The standards of these politicians has diminished. The standards of not only the politicians, the people that support the politicians, the media, local politicians, rioting, now it's called a myth, and it's like the American people are idiots. That's the way they're treating us. And I completely disregard of what's going on. And we need higher standards overall from every aspect on every politician. That's my take on it.
All right. Good takes, I think. Good takes. So there you go. Thank you again, Laura. If anybody else has anything they want to send us or ask us, please go to bigdivideshow.com and hit the mailbag, or even let us know who your favorite host is. I don't even know if we have one of those this week. Maybe they didn't like anybody. Yeah. Nobody hit the higher standard out of you guys.
So that means Jay is still winning in that category, then.
Jay's our man. He's the reigning champion.
I will carry the mantle.
Sounds good, dude. You know what, Jay? Jay is. If you hang out with us, he's probably the one guy that would be the designated driver out of 4 of us.
Oh yeah, you'd be generally safe in that. But I had a few fireballs on election night.
Oh, you did? I don't drink that much. I can't handle it. My stomach is. I can't handle motion sickness. Like I don't have a really tough stomach. So.
Well, that's why you want to stand still when you're doing those shots.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to...
I'm the Navy guy, and I don't drink at all. So what does that say?
It says you're a Navy guy that doesn't drink. All right, so let's move on to the current situation. Now, I'm going to date the show. It's Thursday. Hopefully this will make it up by Friday. But as it stands right now, we have nobody's won the election. The election is still happening. The party should still be going on as we speak here. So let's as it stands right now, we have Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and possibly Arizona, even though Arizona was called early on election night. I got some ideas about all of this. There is stuff going on. Unprecedented stuff. Gamesmanship, I believe, inside these blue states run by blue governors, where they paused the count and then sent everybody home. And it was almost like a timeout. On Tuesday night, I had people texting me angry, and they were emotionally angry that Trump was going to win. Danietta, the infamous Danietta, walks out and says, you know what? I can't believe this. 4 more years of this crap. So she was convinced that Trump was winning because the map was red. And so I go to bed. It was 2:30 when I got out of here. I go home. It's 3:00 in the morning. I put my head down and I wake up, and all of a sudden I pull up the map right away. I'm like, okay, this is over. And all of a sudden it's not over. Right, Wisconsin and Michigan have turned. They didn't call Pennsylvania. They didn't call Georgia. They didn't call North Carolina. Craziness had happened, and that's where we stand. We're standing right now. So I think that we're experiencing something that's unprecedented between the two political parties. A lot of gamesmanship, and a lot of it has to do with the media. A lot of it has to do with with the court of public opinion, the political opinion. A lot of fishy things happened, and inside of Wisconsin, you saw in 4 o'clock in the morning $100,000 dump, 100,000 vote dump. Michigan got 138 vote dump at both of them at 4 o'clock in the morning, which actually threw for Wisconsin. Trump was winning this nice curve, right? It was this nice voter curve going up with all the tallies, and all of a sudden there was a straight line, 138 or 100,000 votes came in, not one for Trump, all Biden.
No,
Same thing happened.
I think 3 of those were for Trump.
Michigan, 138 Biden, 0 Trump. That for me sets off alarm bells for me. I mean, that's a mathematical phenomena that we experience. Like not even the election. It's not a political phenomena. That would be a mathematical anomaly.
It's a statistical impossibility, not an improbability. It's a statistical impossibility.
That's right. So, they mobilized the attorneys, and I think they should. And you know what? This was all predicted. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. It's going to go to the courts, and they're going to check stuff out. But I do believe that you should recount Wisconsin and Michigan. I think that's going to happen. I believe that, and there's still a chance to win. I mean, Arizona is creeping up. I'm looking at the numbers right here. Arizona, he could still win Arizona, even though Fox called it and everybody followed suit while we were here at the party early, which is a big problem for politically, because now people are saying, oh, he won Arizona. It's not been certified. Like no, the states are not certified anything yet. This is all just speculation on the map right now, every single state, because nothing's been actually absolutely certified. So any takes on this stuff? And what's going on here?
First of all, Arizona is showing approximately a 70,000 vote spread right now. So I have some doubts about Arizona, but Nevada is looking very interesting. There's only an 11,000 vote spread in Nevada right now, and we're hearing some rumblings of some possible misdeeds on the part of the Dems. So Nevada might actually be in play. Wisconsin, the Trump campaign has already sued Wisconsin for a recount. And the governor has indicated they're not going to resist that. I don't know what's going to happen in Michigan, but I saw those graphs, and those vertical lines were highly suspicious.
Yep.
And in Pennsylvania, do you see what's going on there today? The Trump campaign went to court to be able to observe the counting, the opening and the counting of the ballots, just to observe, which they're allowed to do by law. And the lower court, the Commonwealth Court, agreed and said, get in there and you can get within 6 feet of the counting. Mm-hmm. And they went to do that, and they were ushered out. They stopped the count in Philadelphia. They stopped the count and said, all Republicans get out of the room. So they're now litigating this in the, the Superior Court of Pennsylvania, or maybe the Supreme Court. I'm not sure where we are right now. And then it's going to go to the federal court, and it will end up in the Supreme Court.
It will.
But what are they hiding? Why would you not want people there just to verify that things are being done properly? I've got
an idea.
Go for it.
Let me hear. We're talking about some stuff. Let's go around to Devi and Will on his ideas. I don't know if they have anything to add.
Devi, you go first. I'm curious to find out what what's your stance on this? Go ahead, Devi.
I don't have a whole lot to say on it.
Do you believe that there's something fishy going on?
In terms of the votes coming in, they're all of a sudden
4 a.m. Both states, blue states, 4 a.m. 100,000 that pushed him through the lead that he had in.
I guess here's what I believe. So a lot of the Republicans voted early, and they voted in person, and so those votes were easy to count. And then you had a lot of votes that were mailed in, so they had to come in. And I mean, even if you have a gang load of votes, they come in by mail. Yeah, I guess I could see how you could say maybe suspicious if they come in at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, not the time.
Maybe they had to have several trucks or something that needed to gather them all.
Several trucks dropped off a bunch of mail at 4 o'clock in the morning, but every single ballot is a Biden ballot, not a single Trump ballot. Over 138,000.
So that's been proven that every single ballot was for Biden.
Yeah. Well,
it's the way it was reported.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, how do you feel about that?
He doesn't believe it.
It's kind of like it is what it is. I mean, I don't, because again, it's hard for me to really say on something that it's hard to prove, because one outlet could report that was the case, and then another outlet can report, hey, that wasn't really the case. I mean, you guys are getting your information from your sources.
No, I sent a picture to you. I'll even do it again, bro, right now, because you're over there in Washington, D.C. So I'll send you something. I think I sent it to you. Oh, here he is. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now again. You can even check your phone, brother. So I just sent it again to you. This is coming from. I'll read the bottom. I can't read the bottom because I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Expected vote totals generated by the Edison Research and estimate turnout based on. Okay, so you see the straight lines happening at 4 a.m. on those.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that, dude?
I mean, but you sent me a chart. This blank.
The chart.
Where's this source from?
Yeah, so generated by the Edison Research and estimated turnout based on historical trends. Blah blah blah. Total presidential votes for each party so far, with 89% of the. Looks like it's coming off official sites, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you feel about that?
These are coming from the states.
Is that a phenomenon? Is that a mathematical?
And Michigan.
Would you say that's a mathematical phenomenon that you could actually go from being that far down to jumping and winning in one drop, not a single Trump vote?
Like we say, there's a probability, right?
Oh my gosh, Stevie.
I'm reminded of that scene in the movie Dumb and Dumber, when Jim Carrey is, you got it, right? He's after this woman and she says, come on, don't I have a chance? She says, you've got maybe a chance in a million. And he goes, yeah,
I got a chance.
There's a chance.
Come on. Let's get real about this.
Let's get real about it.
There is something wrong with this.
Totally.
Something wrong with this.
Now, I have an idea because they're holding off. They haven't called Georgia. And listen, on election night, they called Virginia with like 5% of the votes coming in. They called it for Biden. They called Arizona way early, and to the point where there were still people in line that could have voted, and they called it for Biden.
Let's clarify who was they that called it, because
Fox News called it. Fox News called it. All right, and listen, let me tell you something. Everything you're seeing, so what you're seeing right now, when it says solid red, blue, solid blue, I'm looking at an electoral map off college. I don't want to look at that. Associated Press. This is the AP. So I'm looking at the AP's electoral map. This is not the certified map. So AP is just reporting this as journalism, right? So I'm looking at this stuff as it counts, and they're calling states because the idea here is, the candidates that's behind there's not enough votes to come in that could actually turn it over, right? But as we heard, Arizona is still in play. And I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention to all the news.
I just saw something that they flipped Arizona, that Biden flipped Arizona.
No, okay. It's been blue since early Tuesday night. In fact, so early that there were still people in line to vote when Fox called Arizona.
So this goes back to one of my questions is, so who is the trusted source that is bipartisan that, if we're going to show a map and all the electoral votes, who's getting what? Who is that source that all Americans, regardless of who you're for, can say, all right, this is who we look at.
Dreamer.
Well, that's a problem.
Right. So you say I'm a dreamer, right? So that means it doesn't exist. So then you have your source and somebody else. It's like what Dan said at the party, and even Will said this to Dan. His Will's sources he gets his sources, he's right. Dan gets his sources, he's right. So then that means both sides feel like they're right, and there's the truth that's in the middle. Where's the truth?
Yeah. Well, why don't you read what you just sent me that I actually told you to take notes on because I was driving. I couldn't take a note. I think I sent it to you. I'm like, hey, or I was talking to you. I'm like, write that down. That's got to be on the show.
Write it down. I'm opening my phone right here.
I'm looking at it right now. Here's what I told him. I go, you know what? When trust is gone, you have to rely on belief. And that's the problem. That's the problem right now. There is no trust. And then where'd you get that number? And then you have to go to another. Where'd that number come from? And who counted that to put that number on the computer? And how do we know it's not a typo? Because technically there was a typo. There was somebody that entered a number into a computer that had an extra zero on it and says, oh, my bad. Let's get rid of that zero. So an official at an electoral counting station somewhere in one of these states actually added a zero that changed the number. So people are like, whoa, that's coming from the electoral site. That's counting, right? So human error in a person with a finger hitting an extra zero actually was with our factual information and was actually 10 times more for Biden than for Trump. And they're like, oh, sorry, mistake, our mistake. Sorry. So, and I know where that's at. I can actually pull that up. So I'm going to, so I'm, it's just so I'm not spouting. You guys are like, he's just spouting stuff. It was actually for Michigan. Here we go. So this was the error, right? So Donald Trump had 2,209,902 votes. And then all of a sudden, Biden had went from 1.9 million to 2.1 million because there was an extra zero added to the count and they had to rescind that. So this is bananas, dude. Like, right. When trust is gone, you have to rely on belief. And that's where America's at, right? It's just, we're just fuel right now. Our tribalism, and we're talking about, I think the Democratic Party is fractured like crazy through ideologies. Right, like intersectional. What do they call that?
Intersectionalism.
Yes, where the most marginalized people can have the biggest voices or the most important representation of these different factions. So, and that's the problem. The problem is, well, I believe, there's still people that believe that that Trump colluded with Russia. Right, they still believe it. They're still waiting for tapes from Russia and Trump and some. I have friends that believe that's true. They just never saw the tapes. I believe it because it sounds like something he would do. The losers and suckers comment, right?
Well, I think some people believe that because there was blocking of witnesses and all the evidence. So I can understand what people would say. Hey, they still believe that's a possibility. So
what was possible?
That he had some kind of
collusion with Russia.
Collusion, yeah, with Russia.
Are you a collusion hoaxer there, Deeves? Are you that guy?
No, you. Whenever I say something like that, you project that on me. I'm simply saying to you, Scott, that when you say people still believe that, because of if you're seeing that people being blocked from testifying, that can provide evidence. And if the evidence is not being presented and then nothing happens, then people are left to believe, well, okay, yeah, no wonder he wasn't convicted of what he was accused of because all the evidence wasn't there. So they had to base that off of that. So this is why people can still feel that way. Okay. And that's simply what I'm saying.
All right. So, okay, I have to deal with this now. I mean, that the D-class that Grinnell did, when they declassed all of the testimony behind the classified testimony behind closed doors that Adam Schiff had for like Brennan, Clapper, all these high level guys that would go on TV and say, yep, there's evidence. And then when they were under oath, they're like, nope, I've never seen evidence of collusion. That occurred, exactly. Right? Brennan actually under oath says, yeah, I've never seen evidence of collusion, even though he'll go on a news station and say, there's some evidence that this guy might have been colluding. That occurred, right?
Every single one of them said that.
Every single one. And that's why Schiff didn't want that stuff released. He didn't want it released because it would prove that there was no collusion. He was running around the news stations going, there's a Russian.
Schiff is the only one we don't have under oath.
Exactly. And he's a liar.
And he's the guy that told us
Pathological
that the laptop. Schiff was the guy that told us that the laptop was actually Russian disinformation.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Tell me why the head of the impeachment committee didn't present the case in the Senate.
Exactly, dude.
Because he didn't want to be under oath. That's the reason.
Exactly. That's it. That's right. Okay, let's go back to the election. I got an idea. I want to present something to you guys. So I heard this today as a theory. Why is North Carolina not being called? It should be called, right? Because it's run by a Democratic governor, and they're holding off. The more they can keep, like right now, I'm looking at the speculated electoral count is 264. Even DV sent this to me, 264 to 214. He's like, it's getting close. Problem is, if you call Georgia and North Carolina and PA right now, Trump wins.
And
right?
Alaska.
And Alaska, right. So that's a Trump win. So these blue, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Alaska, and Georgia, they're not calling it because they don't want the public to actually believe that Trump has any kind of momentum. Even North Carolina could be called right now. The governor is not allowing it to happen. So they want you to believe that Biden has got this thing cinched. He only needs 6 more because as a human, just like DV did. So DV sent me the picture, the 264 to 214 goes, it's almost over without understanding the picture. North Carolina should be called right now. Alaska, Georgia, Pennsylvania should be called right now. Arizona, he still has a shot to win. But the more people believe that Biden won with all these news channels saying, hey, it looks like Biden, with even DV going, 264, and then Trump surged to the head. There's something fishy there, right? So now they're creating this, the longer this lasts, now they're creating this court of public opinion where they could create riots where people say, how Trump stole the election. There's no way he should have won. So the low propensity voter out there, the low information voters out there are going to say, wait a minute. They've been talking about Biden winning. And then all of a sudden Trump wins. He stole the election. Let's go get our guns and our torches. So this is creating divide right here.
Don't make any mistake. This is by design. The intention of this is to sway the inevitable litigation.
Yes.
Because the judges and the people that support this are going to be under enormous pressure to either avoid it and not take these cases on vis-a-vis the Supreme Court, or to come down on one side or the other. And maybe they're going to come down on the side of let's stop the riots.
Yes. And the judges, right. You don't want to have 9 people deciding what's going on for, 700 million people. So, and that's the problem. Judges don't like being political, right? And they're like, look, you guys got to figure this out amongst yourselves.
Some judges don't.
We're going to be, right. Sullivan. Anyway, so, this is right here. This is all gamesmanship by governors in blue states trying to hold off the belief that Trump won the election. So now people are solidifying their belief. I even have some Republican friends going, well, okay, whatever. Biden's going to win. Let's move on with life. So now it's working. It's working in the court of public opinion that the longer we can hold off calling a state, even though it looks like Trump's never going to lose he can't lose North Carolina, but they have not called that state 2 days later. Right?
He's 76,700 votes ahead right now. It's 4:34 on Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
He's not going to lose North Carolina.
He's not going to lose North Carolina. Why?
But you might be interested to hear this. I put some numbers together before we sat down to do the show. 2 hours ago, I had Georgia at a delta of about 13,000. It's down to 9,500 right now, favor Trump. So that lead is eroding quickly. And I haven't heard any details on the nature of that, but that's going to be interesting to watch. The other ones are fairly clear. Nevada is now a question mark because now we're discovering that there were a number of dead people that voted. They must have thought they were in Cook County, Illinois.
Right. So as it stands, I'm looking at the numbers right now. And again, this is Thursday afternoon. So this show, this is going to be very stale if Monday.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like we're talking about stuff right now in this show that everybody's going to be like, it's an old show. We got 99% of Georgia has been reported, 76% of Nevada, 94% of North Carolina. That ain't going nowhere. That should be Trump right now. 88% of Pennsylvania with a just a 1.5% lead for Trump. Arizona is 88% reporting, and he's catching. See, and this is the thing. It shows that they called it for Biden still on this thing, and yet they're saying that it's still in play. Florida's called. Okay, so there you go. So Alaska is going to be Trump for sure. That should be called right now.
I don't understand what the delay is. There's a huge favor Trump. Right. Well, with only half the vote in, but I don't understand the delay in that. What's the problem there?
And here's the thing. The media, I mean, again, I don't think anybody on this line, even Devi, disagrees that the media is in the bag for the Democrats, for Biden. I mean, John Brennan, who hates Trump, is on a payroll, is on a MSNBC's payroll or CNN payroll. McCabe, who hates Trump, got fired by Trump. He's on CNN's favor. So why would you actually, hey, let's pick up these guys who hate Trump. Let's put them in as pundits, right? It's a complete rail. And listen, let's talk about this for a second. This guy has had the media against him for 4 years. Everything that came out of the Congress was designed to destroy Trump. The Congress is paying the price. The Senate is paying the price for what they didn't do. Having 1 seat in the Congress, they're now losing a bunch of seats in the Congress because it was a do-nothing Congress. They just went after Trump. So this blue wave that was supposed to happen, all my friends were like, you guys are going to lose the Congress, you're going to lose the Senate, and you're going to lose the White House. So congratulations, Trump did that to you guys. And it turns out we're going to keep the Senate, which is, if Biden does get in there, it's going to be nothing's going to get done. It's going to be a red wall. He's going to be slamming whatever he's got up, his policies up against. And Pelosi lost 10 seats. There's going to be a 10-seat difference inside of Congress.
Well, the GOP picked up 5 seats. So is that the 10-seat swing you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right, listen, let me throw this onto the heap there because I like where you're going with this, Scott. I want you to consider this, and this is going to bring me to the question of, does this make sense or does this smell like dead fish? The Republicans turned out 12% of the black vote. Now, first of all, everybody said that wasn't possible, and especially under the racist we call Trump, which is nonsense. He turned out 12% of the black vote, and everybody said, you get 12% of the black vote, you have the election in the bag. I think it's
14%. I think it was always 14%.
Last I saw was 12, but okay, wherever it is.
I'm saying that if it was 14%, he said, hey, if you get 14% of the black vote, it's all Democrats don't have a party anymore.
Got it. Okay, so he got 12% of the black vote. He's got 32% of the Hispanic vote.
Right.
And he got 69 million votes in the popular vote.
He is going to surpass.
And you're telling me that this thing there's a wave crashing for Joe Biden?
He is about to beat Barack Obama's popularity vote of 2008.
Yeah, it doesn't pass the smell test is all I'm saying.
It doesn't. Like he increased every single demographic. He increased in white women, plus even black women, black men, Hispanics. The only thing I saw him go down is a negative 5% on white males. So 5% less white males voted for him than back in 2016. And I'm going to tell you why that doesn't smell good for me. You want to know why? I got the biggest conspiracy theory of the show. You ready?
Yeah, let's have it.
Dead white men. Way back when they're like, all right, let's just dig up some names and throw them in there. They're all white men. We don't care. We're going to dump them at 4 a.m. Nobody will know the difference.
Well, that may be. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's corruption here or corruption there, other than Philadelphia, which is notorious for it. And they're counting right now. They're going to have to litigate this, but this election is still very close. Yeah. I'm not convinced that Trump has lost. And listen, if it's determined that he lost the race, then he lost the race. No, I'm ready to move on.
Listen, and here's what it comes down to for me, Jay. Here's the problem for me. I am stuck on the fact that, like you just said, it doesn't smell it doesn't pass the smell test. I'm stuck on the fact that he won. The dude won with the vote count that he had. These guys they've been prepping this stuff. I mean, the I don't know what was it, the Integrity Project, that whole idea where they had this gamesmanship. They were doing these electoral war games where Podesta actually said, I'm going to play Biden and I'm never going to concede ever.
Yep.
This thing's going to be decided in the streets, right? That is an absolute plan that was actually gamed before the election so that there would always be a doubt and we could always show that Trump stole it, right? And I guarantee that mail-in ballots was part of this plan.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. With or without COVID. COVID just made it that much easier.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of ballots that are fraudulent based on some of the Veritas videos that we've seen of people harvesting ballots, right? Even ideas
in real time, I'm watching a screen here as we speak here. Yeah. The Secretary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania just says we have several 100,000 ballots left to count. I like the accuracy of that number, several 100,000.
Bull crap, dude. Bull crap.
They're going to figure out what do we need.
That's exactly what they're doing. What do we need to make sure this is a Biden state?
This just stinks to high heaven.
Yeah. Here's what I like about listening to all of you, right? I'm a little bit under the weather. And I told you that there's going to be fraud, right? My conspiracy brain went there. I had a dream, and they're going to do something because they were cool, calm, and collective. And with all the momentum, that Trump had, he got 5 million more votes than he did in 2016, and it's not enough. Right. And
more than that, Will. He's at 69 million right now. And I want to say in 2016, he was around 60 million.
Okay. So it went up, right?
That's a 15% increase.
And he's about to surpass Obama's popularity vote of 2008.
Yeah. And just listening to the both of you, there's the pattern of corruption. You're verifying what's going on out there. And we, the American people, we're not stupid. We see it. Why was Arizona called early? And not Georgia, not North Carolina. Come on, what's going on here? And it's the ballots. These COVID ballots being mailed in. We know the truth. We know the truth. And when they're counting ballots in Detroit, they kicked out all the people that represent the Republican Party, and then they put the coverings over the windows, okay, so that they can't see. People applauded. Yeah, get them out of here. Get them out of here, right? And they're counting the ballots. What are these ballots? Who signed these ballots? And in Pennsylvania, a judge just said in a county of Pennsylvania, they were still contacting people, right, so that they can get their ballot corrected on the right signature.
Yeah. Here's a question I have. Here's a question I have for all of this when I'm hearing this, right? I'm not here to defend like a Democratic side. Here's what I hear you saying. We know the truth when Will says that, and that they kicked out all the people who represented Republicans in Detroit and then covered the windows. If we know that to happen for
it did. It was on television.
Okay, so here's the challenge I have though. When you first you say, "Hey, the media is behind this," but then it's on TV, so you're supposed to believe that. And so what? Am I supposed to believe the media, or am I not supposed to believe the media? That's the first question. So, but then if you say, "Okay, this was on TV that they showed Republicans being kicked out of to be counting votes,"
it was on Fox News. And I saw the report.
It's on Fox News. Okay. No other news outlet broadcasted that, is what you're saying to me.
Okay. So what's your point?
Okay. My point is this. If we know that to be true, all right, and that's illegal, and we're calling it fraud, then, I mean, so what are the legal repercussions of that? Can somebody go in and say, "Hey, you know what? This is not allowed"? There's got to be someone there's got to be some people who are neutral that says, "You know what? No, this is not allowed." So, because what I'm hearing from you all, that the Democrats have this much power that they have that much control over all of this. So that means they control the postal services all the people who are counting these ballots are all Democrats, and all that. So they're all a part of they're all part of the conspiracy.
Okay,
that's just how I'm hearing it for you.
Let me tell you this, okay? In Detroit, it's liberal. It's a blue town, right? All the majority of the people vote Democratic, the majority in Detroit. The Secretary of State for Michigan is the one that handles the laws, okay, where it comes to the states. It's the Secretary of State. They're Democrat. What just happened on my computer?
I just sent you a picture, by the way.
Okay, they're Democrat. And now you have Democrats counting, and they don't want to allow anybody who's supposed to be there to make sure the ballots are counted correctly on the Republican side to get anywhere close. What's going on? There's supposed to be a Democrat and a Republican looking at each ballot together. And when they're not allowing that, what's going on, DV? You tell me that, right? And it's up to the states.
DV, in Pennsylvania, the law requires that the ballots be opened and examined and verified by representatives from both Democrat and Republican. That's state law. And they clearly violated that. We saw video of them telling all Republicans, get out of the count room. I saw this morning. We've seen pictures of the windows in Wayne County taped up, boarded or covered with paper and cardboard so that you couldn't even observe the counting from the street. We've seen it. We've witnessed it. That's Democrat controlled, as Will said. So is the Philadelphia area. And I'm not saying that they're committing fraud. It appears to me that they are, but I don't know that they are. So you ask what the remedy is? Both campaigns have been in court for 3 days, and they're going to be in court for the next 3 weeks or 2 months.
I'm convinced there's fraud. I'm convinced. Yeah.
Well,
if there is, right? I'm not here to defend and I'm saying, oh, that's not happening, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's that. It could be. I wouldn't put it past any political party because it's all about power for them. They want to gain power. So if it's going to go to the courts, and it comes out, and ultimately, if Trump wins, I'm like, okay, great, he won. Let's move forward. If he didn't win, if Biden won, okay, great, let's move forward. But both sides are going to talk about some kind of conspiracy or this and that. And I'm like, okay, again, it goes to what do you believe? What do you trust? Who's presenting the absolute correct information?
Well, DV, I'm with you. I can accept a Trump loss. I mean, I told you guys last week I voted for Trump. I support him. I love his agenda. I love his policy agenda. I can live with a Trump loss if it's fair and it's honest.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's going on right now.
I can really live with it because we're keeping the Senate. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. But DV, Jay just pointed out something to you. I pointed out something to you. How do you feel about that? Do you still think that it's the media that's reporting it so that the Republican media is reporting it so that the Republicans could get upset? Or is it what's going on? Do you believe that this is going on, DV, now that two people have told you what's going on? That's what I'm curious to find out right now.
Yeah, but I'm basing off of what two people told me, and based off of
I sent you a picture. I sent you a picture taken at the electors where they're covering up. They won't let people see the counts.
Yeah,
right? It's not a video. It's just a picture. I took a picture. Okay, of it, right? But that gives you. So I'm thinking that you're that little political baby coming in. Like you're like, I don't know this stuff. Now I'm enlightening you to what's going on over there. You can go investigate it yourself. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. You have a picture of I see a gentleman outside.
Okay, no, never mind. It's just type in, just Google Detroit covering windows, and it'll all come up. Even the Times has got pictures of it up there. That it's occurring.
So I mean, but could that be? Are you saying because they're covering windows, keeping people from looking in, seeing other people vote?
The count happening. Yes, they're counting in secret. They're counting in secret now.
Tell me why anybody would do that.
Why?
Give me one good reason why that would ever be done.
And because you're saying you all are saying,
look at him. He doesn't want to answer the question.
No.
He doesn't.
Scott.
Let him ask the question. Go ahead,
Scott. because what you're saying is all the people, the Republican sides who were supposed to help count the ballots, right? You're supposed to have a Democrat and a Republican counting, right?
Verify.
To verify.
They observe.
Right?
They're observers. That's all.
You're saying they all got kicked out.
Yes.
And then so now, right? So now it's just Democrats in there verifying the ballot.
Yes.
So now they're not even being allowed to look in there.
Yes.
Now,
Right.
I mean,
behind windows that are covered.
That are behind windows. Now that, yes, I could agree and say, hey, if that actually what happened, then yes, that's a fishy. That's
but it's not actually what happened. It's what happened. It's verified.
You're always on the if side.
Happened.
Well, if that's happening, then
that's the problem.
Okay, because are any of us actually there? Do we know what was?
Oh my God!
That's all I'm saying.
I'm done.
Well, y'all could be done. So you all asked me a question, right? I'm just not going to.
But you don't
jump on.
This goes back. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt, man, because I'm getting annoyed here. Okay, this goes
There's
back.
no point in getting annoyed.
I just want to say that
I get it. But let me
Will
say
has
something.
a fever, so go easy on him.
he got COVID.
Okay, my
brain
annoyance is my
COVID
annoyance,
is
right?
screwing up his brain.
But this is, Devi, it goes back to the young lady that asked the original question. Okay, what Bill Clinton did and what Donald Trump did, right? And it's offensive for some of us, and if it's not offensive to some of us also. And it's because it's of the political party. That's what it is. And there's a big divide here, right? Where people on the left are saying, well, show me the evidence. And once we show them the evidence, well, that didn't happen. And just like what Scott said, okay, with the Russian conspiracy, okay, it's proven that there's none. All these operatives that were against Trump saying Russia went behind closed doors in Congress and they testified under oath.
When they're under oath, when they're under oath, there's no Russian collusion. When they're on a TV, they're like, no, I think there's collusion.
And the people, Devi, right, believe it. Right? But the people that really do the due diligence and find out what's going on behind closed doors, they know there's no evidence. It's debunked over and over and over again. But it's not good enough. So when does this stop? And right now we're presenting evidence to you and you're saying, well, if that actually did happen, and we're telling you it did happen, it was reported. The cameras are right there and then.
Well, okay. All right, I'm gonna roll with you all on this. You're saying it actually happened. It was reported. It was reported by who? The media?
I sent you a picture of it happening.
Yeah, I see where he's going. I see where he's going.
The media.
Yeah, but we don't trust the media, right? Is that where you're going?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you all want me to say, oh, I'm supposed to believe this because it was reported by the media, but then but then you all turn around and say, hey, we can't believe the media.
So Devi, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that there's rioting in the streets of Philadelphia, Seattle, Portland, or is it just a myth? Do you think riots happened this summer at all? Because the media reported riots, but CNN was saying it was protest, the summer of love in Seattle. Which one do you believe?
Okay, I'm going to ask that. Because some people are saying, hey, it was riots, and then some people saying it was protest. So depending on how they want to spin it, they're going to only report what they see as riots.
I want to know what you believe. Like we're asking you.
I believe there are riots and protests.
Believe?
I believe there are people who were protesting, and I believe there are people who were rioting. I believe that
I would
both
agree
were
with
happening.
that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, but when you see buildings burning up, right? Police stations burning up in Minnesota.
But Will,
and
you're focusing only on the rioting.
No. I'm making a point, Devi. I'm making a point, Devi. Here's my point. When you see buildings burning behind a reporter, and they're saying that it's peaceful protest, what's peaceful?
It was mostly. They put the word mostly in front of it to make it accurate.
Except for all that stuff behind me.
I'm asking you, Devi. Is that rioting or is that peaceful protest with a police station being burnt down behind him? Just think about that. It didn't happen. They don't want us to believe it happened.
You're kind of making Devi's point where he said, what do you trust? What do we trust? Right? And at one point, DV, you're going to have to trust your own eyes or your ears or whatever. Like, I believe, based on the stuff I've read and stuff I've seen, I mean, they're blocking the windows so people can't see the count. Why are they counting in secret? Why is it
right?
Secret?
That's why I go back to. I'm saying I'm not defending them. There definitely could be there, and it's definitely fishy.
Could
right?
Okay, thank God.
It's definitely fishy.
Something's fishy.
That's happening. I just can't be definite and say because I don't know.
All right.
Again,
I have to say this though. I have to say this. I love what you just did, DV. I love the line that you just took, and I mean that sincerely because it's a problem. You set it up and you said, okay, well, you guys all saw this through the media, but you don't trust the media. And Scott brought it right back home. He says, therein lies the problem.
Yeah. But I agree with that. Therein lies the problem because we don't know who or what to trust. Right.
I'm not flying to Pennsylvania today, so I gotta trust humans that want to see fair elections, right? And I don't think it's being handled that way. I don't think that Michigan was fair at 4:00 in the morning. I don't think Wisconsin was fair at 4:00 in the morning. Oh, how convenient that it's actually Democratic governors. You don't think that they actually got together when COVID hit and says, "Hey, all blues, shut down your economies. We got to destroy the economy."
And so we have to say that all of a sudden they went out and recruited all of these people in these towns and these cities to say, "Hey, we want you all to participate in our."
This is a 4-year operation to make sure that Trump is not in power.
Then you know what?
Hold on a minute. I'm going to tell you what. Let me tell you why, and I'll tell you what I believe because there are some big time problems that Barr could be looking into. It ain't about Trump, to be honest with you. For me, it's about Barr. And you heard Brennan. Brennan did a tweet. Here's where the Democrats are absolutely terrified of. They're absolutely terrified that all of their stuff gets litigated, right? This Judge Sullivan is hanging on to Flynn's case, hoping that guy who was in the Obama administration in intelligence doesn't go free to actually get the gag order off and start talking about what was happening. This is the desperation. So they're like, look, at all costs, we don't even give a crap if it looks suspicious. 138,000 votes at 4:00 in the morning. We don't care. Make it happen so that we can actually sow discourse into the American public so that Trump is gone. It's our best shot. We got to do this to get him out. So Barr's gone and we do not get litigated. We can get rid of Ratcliffe. We can get rid of Barr. We can get rid of everybody that's in Trump's corner because they're going to be looking at us if they continue to look at us if he wins. They are desperate. And when you corner an animal and it doesn't matter how big you are, they're going to use all their teeth on you, no matter how little they are, right, to save their lives. And this is exactly what I think is happening.
Yeah, if Biden is certified as the next president, forget about any investigation any further into Comey, Brennan,
Clapper,
Biden.
McCabe.
Forget about it. Clinton. It's done.
Clinton, right.
So it ultimately goes back to what we said. There's corruption throughout this whole processing system because they're not going to convict each other. The powers that be want whoever they want to be in power so they can continue to have power.
Okay, I can't disagree with that. All right, we are coming up on. This show's almost over.
Do we have time for one other thing I wanted to talk about? Because I think this is timely. And let me set this up very quickly. This I think is very revealing. I want to play a very short clip from a conversation, a Zoom conference call that Bernie Sanders had with the Squad. The Squad is Rashid Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they were talking about how they want to handle Biden once he's elected. So if you would play cut 17, please.
We understand that electing Biden is not the end all. It is the beginning. Biden's proposals in this campaign are a lot stronger than they were in the primary. Do they go as far as we would want? No, they don't. We're not giving up on our agenda. We're going to introduce Medicare for all. Believe me, we are. Green New Deal. We ain't giving up on that. We organize our people to make sure that Biden becomes the most progressive president since FDR.
All right. Now, what I like about that is that it's honest. It's one of the most honest things I've ever heard from Bernie Sanders. And if you watch the clip, you can see it on YouTube. You'll see in, the little Hollywood square boxes, the squad is in there and they're all smiling and happy because this is what they want. They want Biden in there as a puppet, as an empty suit that they can manipulate. They're not going to get it now, by the way, because the Republicans are holding the Senate. Yep. But this is absolute proof positive that this is what they're after. This is the left agenda.
Yep.
And how deceptive is that? Let's put this puppet up there that we can control, and then once he gets in, we'll take over from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention how disrespectful that was to Joe Biden. Because I saw this on Sunday, I believe, 3 days before the election. Yeah. And unwise on their part for that to get out that early. But if you think there isn't I want to avoid the word conspiracy. If you think there isn't a plan on the part of the left with A, B, C, D, those steps in place, you're crazy. And this is proof of it right there.
Yep.
Even Kamala, she's more leftist than Bernie. Her
Kamala,
views.
I almost forgot she was running. We haven't heard a word from her.
Oh, man, she's going to be in there in no time.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that if Biden wins, he ain't going 4 years. He ain't going 4 years.
No way.
I said, they call him Sleepy Joe. I said, if he wins, he's just going to say, you guys, you know what?
I'm good.
I'm good. I just really wanted to win. We're going to turn this over to Kamala.
I know, man. That's exactly what's going to happen.
It might happen.
Yeah. And the problem is it's not about people anymore for the Democrats. It's about power. And there was even people saying, you know what? The problem's not the Democratic Party. The problem's the voters. We got to, and they want to punish. They want to punish anybody that was voted against them. They want to. Man, it's just very scary.
So you don't
thought.
believe the Republican side feels that same way? It's not about just
not the same way at all.
No, that's why I'm a Republican. That's why I'm a conservative. That's why I'm a conservative. I say stay away from me. This is traditionally a conservative point of view. Get government out of our lives. Protect our country. Protect the borders. That's what we need. Take care of the judicial system, right, which is a management system across the country. But that's it. That's it, man. Just stay out of my life. Let me live my life. Let me do what I need to do capitalistically. That's what I want. The Democrats want control of everybody's life. They want to be in your bedroom. They want to be in your. They want to be in your business. Hey, you can't. You're not going to make a cake for that person. Oh, we gotta ruin your business. Yeah. Right. And look, and that's what they do, right? Cancel culture isn't something Republicans do. They're not running cancel culture. But if for some reason the Democrats don't like what you said about somebody, they're going to boycott you. They're going to protest against you. It's unbelievable. It's a mob that wants you to conform to their ideas.
And if Biden wins, they're going to form the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, right? To retrain Republicans on how to think. Right? Liberal. That is nuts.
Yeah. Nuts.
That is nuts.
My people get nervous when you talk about re-education camps.
Yeah, dude. No, seriously. Look at the, what was the thing that critical race theory being trained? Common Core math was a Democrat thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do Common Core. My son's like, yeah, I'm like, this is how you work. He goes, oh, no, that's not how you do it. I'm like, no, that's how you do it. He goes, but if I show that, I'll flunk. You actually have to work it the way they tell you to work it, or you'll flunk, even though you come up the right answer using old math. It's an unbelievable thing. Hey, you got to do it the way we tell you to do it, or you're going to get an F. But the answer is right based on the work we just did. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get an F if I don't do it their way.
Yeah, process.
No, and I can agree with that. And I and maybe this will help us for next week's topic. This is why within the Black community is really divorcing the Democratic Party, because they too intrusive and they haven't done anything for the Black community like they always promise. They always make all these promises and never deliver.
What's going to be a good show is this show where we talk about the Black community, like we did almost the other night, right? I can't wait to get to that clip that you sent me, and I can't wait to talk about the mentality of we need something. Like, we need something to happen for the Black community. I'm like, well, why don't we just be all champions? Why don't we just be humans helping humans out? And let's go crazy. That'll be a good show. It's not gonna,
it is.
I mean, we don't have time for
it. It is.
All right. That was a good show. I appreciate it. And as of right now, we don't know who's been elected. And as you guys just heard, there's a lot of stuff going on. By tomorrow, could be all different. But I want to thank Tristan for helping us out today. For you guys coming on here, I think we had a great election party. So if anybody's listening to this, go check out the election party. It's 5 hours, but there was some really good guests that stepped up to the mic. There was some really good discourse, and you know what? Just fast forward through it, because Iron Butt never left his seat over there as the Black Panther. I don't know how you did it, dude. I need the chair that you got, because you sat there all 5.5 hours in the same seat. It's unbelievable. All right. If you want to like this show, go to bigdivideshow.com to get more shows, including the election night party. Bigdivideshow.com. Anybody else in their lingo?
Bigdivideshow.com.
I'm having a little trouble with my sound. Did you say bigdivideshow.com?
And in Spanish?
He said that, the bigdivideshow.com.
Bigdivideshow.com. Go check it out. Hit us up with some mail for next week's show. Let us know which host was best. And go to The Big Divide on Facebook. Be part of the group there. And then like us on Spotify, like us on YouTube. Share it with your friends if you thought it was good. And again, hit up the mailbag. We appreciate you. Your concerns are more important than our concerns. So let us know what you want to talk about. All right. Until then, Tristan, thanks for doing us a solid again. You're an awesome best producer ever, Tristan Dunn. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
This has been The Big Divide. Don't forget to subscribe for your weekly dose of unfiltered and unapologetic conversation.
Done and done.
And of course, share this episode with all of your friends. Well, maybe not the sensitive ones.
You apologize right now.
You have a question, topic, or opinion that you want to hear discussed? Go to bigdivideshow.com and tell us all about it.
Or simply look up Big Divide on Instagram or Facebook and send us a message.